Okay, so what we're looking at today is the difference between a nonpolar covalent bond and a polar covalent bond. And simply, a nonpolar covalent bond is when the two atoms share those electrons equally, meaning that they spend equal time between the two different elements. A polar covalent bond is where they share them unequally, where the electrons spend more time around one element than another element. So how do you know if you have a polar covalent bond or a polar covalent or a nonpolar covalent bond? And the difference is basically you have to look at the electronegativity of the elements. Remember, electronegativity is how much an atom, hogs electrons towards itself. And we said that fluorine was the most electronegative element. So if I look at a couple of examples, if I have chlorine bonded to chlorine, well, since they're the same element, they both hog the electrons the same amount. So electrons are going to spend equal time between the two, and this would be a non-polar covalent bond. But if I had hydrogen bonded to chlorine, their electronegativity values are really different. Chlorine is a lot more electronegative than hydrogen, and therefore the two electrons are going to spend way more time around chlorine than they do around hydrogen. And this would be a polar covalent bond. A real easy way to tell whether it's polar covalent or non-polar covalent is just looking at the elements itself. A non-polar covalent bond is always going to be between two atoms of the same element, since those guys will share the electrons equally. And a polar covalent bond is going to happen between two different elements. An important exception to that is going to be carbon to hydrogen. Carbon to hydrogen, even though they are not the same element, because hydrogen is so small, the electronegativity values sort of balance each other out. And actual data tells us that carbon-hydrogen bonds are in fact non-polar covalent.